Morning once again. Good morning once again. My name is Bright Paul Kaija, and I'm so excited to be part of this sharing this morning. And when I started this opportunity, at that time I was still a student, at the same time working. And one of the reasons why I got started in NeoLife was because I wanted to make money. And today I'm so grateful to God that NeoLife has been able to give me a life that is promising. Someone who used to struggle for basics, today I'm past that. And through NeoLife, I've also been able to touch quite a number of other people's lives. And today, as we're going to share about heart health, one of the cornerstone about NeoLife is learning, because we share information, and definitely we can never share any information that we are not aware about. That's why I would like to congratulate every one of us who is on this call, because I'm very sure by the end of this call you will not remain the same. But one of the challenge I put ahead of you is, do not please keep with this information. Go out and share it with anyone, because that is the only way to create an impact. So just diving into our topic today, we are going to share about heart health. And of course, all of us know about the heart. So talking about the heart, what does the heart do? Or what do we mean by keeping our heart health? Now, one of the things that we need to know is that according to the World Health Organization's board, about 32% of people die today annually due to poor heart health or due to heart diseases. Now that is over 17 million people. Now that is a big number. And the research shows that in USA alone, about out of 3 people who die, actually one of them died due to heart diseases. Can you imagine that? So it is such an alarming situation that we are all responsible of. First of all, to start with our own selves, and then we are able to spread it out there in terms of consciousness and learning more on how to prevent, more especially. So what are some of the common heart diseases that perhaps we are all aware of? Because you see, you cannot prevent something that you're not aware of. So one of the most common heart disease is high blood pressure. And of course, what is high blood pressure? Now, that is when the force of blood in the artery rises beyond normal. And normally the normal blood pressure is 120 to 80. So when it goes beyond that, then someone is bound to suffer from high blood pressure. Now, the other second heart disease that is really so much is the heart attack. And we see that heart attack is an occurrence when the flow of blood to the heart is blocked. Okay, so when the heart is no longer receiving blood in rightful amounts, then it simply means that the heart is under attack. Why? Because it is not receiving any of the blood and oxygen and whatever that comes through with the blood and the oxygen. Then the third heart disease is called the heart failure. Now, heart failure is the inability of the heart to pump enough blood needed by the body. And this mostly, sometimes you'll see people, someone can be seated, or someone will tell you, I'm not feeling I'm not feeling my toes, I'm not feeling my fingers. Now, that could be one of the signs, by the way. Why? Because the heart is supposed to pump blood all over the body up to the last dot of the body. But just in case it is bound to fail, those are some of the feelings or the signs as we're going to hear in our next segment. Then there is what we call stroke. And we are saying stroke is simply the narrowing or the blockage of the arteries of the arteries in the brain, causing none or little blood to flow in a certain part of the brain. So that is also one of the other serious conditions that actually has caused a lot of death, and not only death, but today many people are living with stroke, and it is so disastrous that someone is dysfunctioned in all ways. Okay, and then the other one is what we call the cardiac arrest. Now, cardiac arrest is a sudden, unexpected loss of heart function, breathing, and consciousness. Now, these are some of the common heart diseases. Definitely, there could be others, but we shall not dive into all of them because of time. But these are the most common one. I know we can actually use our chat room to actually just type in other types of heart disease that we know, so that we expand our scope of understanding about the heart conditions. So kindly feel free to use our chat room so that we do not leave any stone unturned. So in my organization, these are basically some of the major heart conditions, so heart diseases that are occurring in our lives today. So at least let's have general information about them. When we have knowledge about something, then it helps us, or it gives us a better level of helping people. Why? Because we know what we're talking and what we are dealing with. So, looking about these heart conditions now, what are some of the risk factors? Because one could wonder what really causes these heart conditions. Now, there are very many factors that actually causes these heart conditions, and these are factors that are in our daily life, meaning that when someone is made aware, or when someone gets conscious about them, we can actually prevent all these conditions. Because in our opportunity, we are more advocating to prevention than curing, unless someone is already affected. So one of the factors that causes heart conditions is the high blood pressure itself. As much as it is a heart disease, but when someone has high blood pressure, actually it cultivates a fertile ground for all other heart diseases that eventually will come in. Why? Because they almost all start from that point. Okay, so that's why it is very important that when someone has high blood pressure, it's very important for them to actually take more conscious and make sure that they work hard and normalize their pressure levels, because if they do not, then more other heart conditions will start building on there. Then the other risk factor is the high cholesterol. Now, this too much of the bad fats in our arteries, and of course, this will also increase the risks of having these heart conditions. Okay, yeah. So it's also very important for someone to note their cholesterol levels so that they are not high, to prevent any other condition that can develop simply because they haven't taken care of their cholesterol in managing them. Then the other factor is smoking. Now, smoking is a very common factor in causing very many heart complications and very many other diseases out there. So this can include both active and passive smoking. So someone may say, for me, I'm not a smoker, but then they are always associating with people who do smoking. Definitely, it will eventually catch up with you. So, smoking is a very bad thing because it always causes quite a number of health challenges. Then we have what you call physical inactivity. When someone does not engage their body physically, when they are not doing some bit of exercise, it increases their risks of having quite a number of healthy challenges, but more so heart complications. Okay, so it's very important to engage ourselves in engaging our body, doing some physical exercises, and this exercise can vary definitely depending on one's body, because our bodies are different, so we cannot do same exercise. For example, if one hasn't been an active person in doing exercise, they can start, small. They can start small, doing the walking, doing the house chores. I mean, engaging the body. Okay. So the other factor is type 2 diabetes. Now, type 2 diabetes is actually one of the other causes of heart diseases. Why? Because it is involved with excess sugars in the body, and definitely these excess sugars eventually can convert into fats, and then causes the accumulation of bad fat in the body, and eventually causing heart diseases. So it's also very important that when someone has type 2 diabetes, they manage it so that they normalize their sugar levels, because if they do not, then it can create quite a number of other health complications and heart diseases inclusive. Then we also look at the abnormal obesity. Yeah. This is when someone's weight is at the extreme. Of course, it's very important that we keep a normal body weight, not underweight, but a normal body weight. Yeah, and how do we manage our normal body weight? By actually trying to understand our body mass index. Now, our body mass index is simply our weight in kilograms divided by our height in meters squared. Yeah, so it's very important that we keep it. It shouldn't go beyond 24. It shouldn't go below. I think about 2018. Someone can correct me on that. I've not done research about it. But this body mass index should be maintained so that we do not accumulate a lot of weight on our body, and neither should we have less. So it's also one of the other factors that actually causes a lot of heart diseases. In fact, you realize most people who have too much weight, most cases have high blood pressure and so much of the other complications that we've talked about, because weight propels to quite a number of those complications, because it is associated more with the accumulation of bad fats in the body. So the other aspect is poor diet. When someone does not take care of their diet, as we're going to see a little more in detail, they'll actually have issues of heart complications. Then look at stress, look at migraine headaches, look at brain tumors. All these are risk factors that actually eventually causes heart complications. And as we drive today, we want to dwell a little more on stroke, because we realized when you look at today, there are very many people around us who are actually affected by stroke, as one of the heart complications. Now, maybe a little bit about stroke. What is stroke? Stroke is an equivalent of heart attack. Like we saw in heart attack, that's when there is a limited or no flow of blood to the heart. So when the heart is denied of blood, then it is under attack. Now, this time we are talking about the brain. Yeah, we're saying that when there is an issue with the flow of blood to part of the brain, then that is what we call stroke. Okay, so when there is when there is blockage, when there is any disruption of flow of blood to any part of the brain, then the body is subjected to this condition called stroke. And we are saying this can happen when blood vessels get blocked or because of bleeding in and around the brain. Yeah, so there are two ways how it actually occurs. Either it's a blockage or it's a blockage of an artery, or it is a tearing, okay, of the artery in and around the brain. So we are saying that without steady supply of blood, brain cells in that particular area start to die due to lack of oxygen. Okay, so when that blood, when the brain is blocked off and is no longer getting enough supply of blood and oxygen, then the brain cells start to die. Why? Because they are not receiving food, they are not receiving oxygen, they are not receiving blood. So these cells start to die. And we are saying that if enough cells go too long without oxygen, the damage may become permanent. You see? So sometimes you might meet someone who has had stroke. Some of them, maybe it is not for a long time. Others, it could be for such a longer time. But now, here we are getting informed that if the denial or if the blockage of this blood flow to the brain has occurred for a longer time, now this could cause a permanent damage to the brain. Okay, so sometimes when we reach out, someone will say, will I get healed? Will I get cured out of this condition? Now, definitely we've had quite a number of testimonies, but it is not advisable to really give 100% assurance. Okay, that is my opinion. I know we can share through the chat rooms. Why? Because, for example, you do not know how the depth of the damage already. Okay. However, like we are saying, we are into prevention. For example, if a certain artery has been blocked, it does not stop other blood vessels from getting blocked. So our involvement with this person will actually prevent the further recurrence or the further damage. Okay, so what are some of the signs and symptoms of stroke? Okay, how do we know that really someone is getting affected by stroke? One, there is what you call nausea. Someone is always, having a running nose, okay, all the time. Then someone is feeling a lot of heat, okay. Someone is feeling a lot of heat in their upper part of the body, which is the brain. Sometimes someone will have a speaking problem, okay. Someone has been talking very well, but all of a sudden they start losing the ability to talk. Okay, then someone will actually experience a strong headache. Okay, all those are some of the signs and the symptoms. Then lack of coordination. Okay, someone will actually fail to figure out things, and they really fail to coordinate things. Now, when you see such signs, onto someone, then you know that they are perhaps having, or they are actually getting to a stroke level. Then there is the arm weakness. Someone definitely, some muscles of the arm or any other part of the body will actually lose strength, and they become so weak and they cause drooping. Then we also see there is a sudden visual impairment. All these are some of the signs. Then face dropping. We have seen all this occurring. So it is very important that when we notice any of these signs, we immediately contact any health professionals around us so that we are helped more. Yeah. So these are some of the signs, and I know there could be other signs. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Amim, for the calculation of the body mass index. Right. So kindly feel free to interlude through our chat room, where you see we need to supplement or make some addition or correction. Let us feel free, because here we are sharing, and When you engage as a person, you learn more than just listening. So let's keep our chat room, active. In case there are any more signs of and symptoms of the stroke, please let's share them so that we learn together. All right, let's proceed on. Let's proceed. Now, who can be affected by stroke? We are saying everyone can actually be affected by stroke. However, the most common people are those of age 65 years and above. Okay, those are the people who stand a higher risk of getting stroke. And then there are also other risk categories include people with high blood pressure, people with type 2 diabetes, people with higher cholesterol, people with heart attack, people who normally experience heart attack, and then people whom in the family they have a history of stroke. These also have a higher risk of getting stroke. So, for example, if someone already has these conditions, then surely they should be able to be more conscious. Why? Because anything can happen anytime, and we do not want to take any chances. So there are about there are majorly two types of stroke that perhaps we may, for purposes of information. Now, the first type of stroke is ischemic stroke. Now, this happens when something blocks blood vessels in the brain, cutting off blood flow. Okay, and demonstrated by simply this image, we see this is a normal artery where blood is flowing very well in the brain, but now here we see a blood vessel is blocked off. So part of the brain where the blockage is occurred is not receiving blood and oxygen. Okay, and they are saying that it accounts for 80% of all strokes. So most people who have stroke, they actually have this type of stroke. Okay, so then the other type of stroke is the hemorrhagic stroke. Now, hemorrhagic stroke happens when there is a bleeding in and around the brain due to tearing of the blood vessels, just as demonstrated by this picture here as well. We can see that this blood vessel is actually shattered so that there is a spread of blood in the brain. Okay, so majorly these are the two types of stroke that that we experience, and but the most common one is the first one, which is ischemic, that is where the blood vessels are blocked. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see this, what is in the chat room here, so that we don't leave any stone. Okay, Mr. Ugembe has shared some of the other signs: sudden weakness or numbness in the face, arm, or leg. Some of the signs of stroke, then sudden confusion or trouble speaking, then sudden trouble seeing in one or both eyes, then sudden severe headache, sudden dizziness or loss of balance. Yeah, all these are some of the signs of stroke. Very important when someone starts experiencing that. As you who has been on this call this morning, at least you have some idea, you can be able to help. Then Mr. James Oguta says sicklers also have risks of getting stroke. That is very true. Thank you so much. Then Chancellor Chisha, BMI refers to the measure of the amount of body fat in the person's body. Okay, all right, that's very true. And in adults, anything below 18 is underweight, absolutely. Okay, so like we saw, the normal body mass index is between 18.5 to 24. That is healthy weight. 25 to 29, that is overweight. 30 is obese. All right, thank you so much for the clarification about the BMI. All right, now let's just roll, and we are saying, what does good diet say about the prevention of all this? Because as we know well, we are in the area of prevention through advocating for good nutrition. And through our NeoLife opportunity, we are blessed to have a scientific advisory board behind whatever information we have to share about our nutrition and our solutions. So, and when you look at some of the health institutions, this is how they recommend us to carry on our nutrition, okay? Whereby we do lots of exercise, eat whole grains, eat fruits and vegetables, less protein and least fats and sugars. But guess what? Most people out there end up reversing this pyramid. And in fact, this is our typical way of nutrition. Okay, full of fats, full of sugars, and definitely this is so killer to our health, and especially increasing our risks of getting stroke and other heart complications. And why? Because that kind of nutrition will damage our cells, and once these cells are damaged, definitely our body becomes prone and vulnerable. Why? Because 75 to 100, our body is 75 to 100 trillion cells. So the whole of us is just cells. So how do we come up as the NeoLife? NeoLife came up with an opportunity of providing solutions through proper supplementation, courtesy of our scientific advisory board. And our foundation in nutrition is the whole grains, which is basically our TRNN, so that when we eat TRNN, it helps in opening up our body cells so that there is a permeability of nutrients and waste in and out respectively, giving the body a great foundation to good nutrition. Then other supplements that we can add on to ensure that our heart health is managed, or stroke. On top of TRNN, we shall add garlic with all those immense benefits that garlic has to offer. Garlic allium complex, a combination of all the allium vegetables there is. Okay, very effective in managing heart health complications and preventing them. Then we have lipotropic adjunct. Now, lipotropic adjunct, very key for managing the homocysteine levels and other aspects, as we can see on the screen. Then we have omega-3 salmon oil complex, very key for emulsifying fats and reducing the high cholesterol, improving circulation, so on and so forth, as we see on the screen. Then we have what you call the vitamin E, very key for the brain health, and we see stroke majorly attacks the brain, Then we have the CoQ10. Now, majorly these are some of the solutions that we have when it comes to managing our heart health. And you see, mostly someone will ask, do I need to use all these products at the same time? And the answer is yes, because this is not medicine, but rather food, okay? And in case someone is able to afford all of them, it is the best option that we can have. Well, what I've not highlighted here is our NeoLife Shake, which is at the core of our nutrition as well. And all we are saying is that let us purpose to reach out to at least 2 people daily and make the world a healthier and a happier place. So from this call, purpose to meet 2 people today and share with them about what we've had. And with that, we shall have our meeting and sharing, delivering value to our community out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, our time is fast spent. It's been a pleasure sharing with us. So let's just have a word of prayer and we close up our meeting. Lord God, we thank you for our sharing today, and we thank you for everyone who has been on this call. Father, let you, Lord, give us your wisdom to reach out to at least 2 people every day and share with them about this wonderful information, because we believe by sharing with them, we shall touch our lives and we shall make their lives better, so that your name will be glorified. For your word says every act of work is a form of worship to you. So let's go out there and share this opportunity so that we shall keep on worshiping you through that. And we pray that you'll give us a beautiful day today. And as we go to close our month, everyone will hit their target so that we shall make the world a healthier and a happier place. In Jesus' name we prayed. Amen. Thank you so much for tuning in to the call. Back to you, Andrew. I think we are done. All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to this wonderful call. All right. Have a